Uganda and Tanzania are in advanced stages of sealing a deal to build a 1,120-kilometer oil pipeline. The East Africa crude oil pipeline work is taking shape. The pipeline will journey over 1,400 kilometers from here.
Septimius decimt divini procentai complete. $13 billion invested. One pipeline that changes East Africa forever. Everyone was told first oil would arrive in 2027. But now the timeline is shifting. July 2026 is suddenly on the table. This is not optimism. This is engineering reality. And once you understand why first oil is coming early, you will realize something bigger is happening beneath the surface. Something that could reshape Uganda, Tanzania, and the entire region. What is EACOP and why the world is watching? The East African crude oil pipeline is not just another energy project. It is the longest heated crude oil pipeline on Earth. Stretching 1,443 kilometers, it connects Uganda's Lake Albert oil fields to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. The oil is thick, the terrain is complex, the political pressure is intense. Yet despite all of that, progress has accelerated. EACOP is now 79% complete. That single number explains everything. Why 79% completion is a big deal. In mega projects, progress is not linear. The first 50% is planning, land acquisition, negotiations, and delays. The last 50% is where reality shows up. Once you pass 75%, the project enters the irreversible phase. Pipes are welded. Pump stations are standing. Electrical systems are being finalized. At 79% completion, EACOP is no longer a promise. It is a physical system coming alive. This is why timelines are being revised. The pipeline itself is almost finished. More than 90% of the pipeline welding work is already completed. Trenches are dug, pipes are laid, protective coating is applied. The hardest sections were done first: river crossings, wetlands, remote terrain. That was intentional. What remains now is connection, testing, and commissioning, not construction from scratch. This is one of the main reasons July 2026 is realistic. Pump stations are moving faster than expected. EACOP relies on 6 major pumping stations and dozens of smaller facilities to keep crude oil flowing at stable temperatures. These stations are not theoretical anymore. They are physically standing. Mechanical installation is nearly complete. Electrical integration is underway. Control systems are being tested earlier than planned. This matters because pumping stations often cause delays. Not this time. Heating systems are already being installed. Here is something most headlines ignore. EACOP is a heated pipeline. Crude oil must stay above 50 degrees Celsius to flow properly. Installing heating cables across thousands of kilometers is no joke. But large sections are already energized and tested. This was one of the biggest technical risks of the project. And it is being neutralized faster than expected. Terminal and storage facilities are ahead of schedule. At the Tanzanian coast, the export terminal is taking shape rapidly. Storage tanks are rising, marine facilities are under construction, loading systems are being assembled. This is crucial because oil production cannot begin without export readiness. Once the terminal is operational, the final bottleneck disappears. And that is exactly what is happening. Uganda is ready on the production side. A pipeline is useless without oil. Uganda has spent years preparing upstream. Operations. Telenga and Kingfisher oil fields are already deep into development. Drilling programs are active. Processing facilities are being finalized. Worker training is ongoing. Uganda is not waiting for the pipeline to finish. It is synchronizing production to match early oil flow. That coordination is rare and extremely powerful. Momentum has replaced uncertainty, and execution now dictates the final timeline. Why first oil in July 2026 makes sense. When companies talk about first oil, they are not guessing, they are calculating. Every system has a critical path. EACOP's critical path is shrinking. Pipeline completion, pump station readiness, heating systems, export terminal commissioning. Most of these are already past the risk stage. That is why July 2026 is not aggressive. It is conservative, based on current momentum. Why operations testing is starting early. One overlooked reason first oil is coming sooner is early operations testing. Normally, mega pipelines wait until construction is fully complete before system-wide testing begins. EACOP is doing the opposite. Sections of the pipeline are already undergoing pressure testing, thermal testing, and control system simulations. This allows engineers to identify problems months in advance rather than weeks before launch. By the time the final sections are connected, much of the system will already be proven operational. This alone can shave 6 to 9 months off the schedule. Early testing changes everything. Local workforce readiness is reducing delays. Another quiet accelerator is people, not steel. Thousands of local technicians in Uganda and Tanzania have already completed operational training. They are not waiting for foreign teams to run the system. Control room staff, safety teams, and maintenance crews are being trained using live system replicas. This means handover time will be minimal. When human readiness matches infrastructure readiness, timelines compress naturally. Supply chain. Bottlenecks have been removed. Global projects often stall due to delayed equipment deliveries. EACOP avoided this. Critical components were ordered early and stored regionally. Valves, sensors, and spare systems are already on site. This eliminates last-minute surprises. Momentum stays intact. Financing is no longer a problem. For a long time, money was the biggest question mark. That chapter is closed. Major financing is secured. Cash flow is stable. Contractors are being paid on time. When funding risk disappears, delays vanish with it. This is another silent reason timelines are moving forward. Political support is locked in. Uganda and Tanzania are fully aligned. Regulatory approvals are complete. Cross-border coordination is smoother than ever. There is no policy uncertainty hanging over the project. For infrastructure of this scale, political clarity is priceless. Global energy realities are changing the game. Despite the energy transition narrative, oil demand remains strong. Especially for heavy crude used in industrial processes, energy security matters more than ever. Countries want diversified supply chains. EACOP delivers exactly that. This global context adds urgency, and urgency accelerates execution. What early first oil means for Uganda. Early first oil means early revenue. Billions of dollars start flowing sooner. Foreign exchange pressure eases. Infrastructure spending accelerates. Jobs expand, local suppliers benefit, energy independence becomes real. For Uganda, timing is everything. What this means for Tanzania. Tanzania becomes a regional energy gateway, transit fees, port expansion, logistics growth. Entire coastal economies stand to benefit. EACOP is not just passing through Tanzania, it is embedding itself into the economy. Why critics are being proven wrong. For years, critics said EACOP would never be built. They said it was too complex, too controversial, too slow. Now the pipeline speaks for itself. Septinius deschimt deveni procentai done. Steel does not argue. Concrete does not debate. Progress is visible. The final stretch is all about execution. From here, the challenge is not engineering. It is coordination, testing systems, training operators, synchronizing flow. These are manageable challenges, not existential threats. That is why confidence is growing inside the project. Why this project changes East Africa forever. EACOP proves something important, that Africa can deliver mega infrastructure, on time, at scale, under global scrutiny. This is not just oil, it is credibility. And credibility attracts investment far beyond energy. The moment first oil flows, when oil finally moves through the pipeline, it will not just be crude, it will be proof. Proof of patience, proof of persistence, proof that long-term vision still matters. July 2026 is not just a date, it is a statement. EACOP is not coming, it is already here. At 79% complete, the question is no longer if, the question is how soon, and everything points to July 2026. If you want more deep dives like this, if you want stories that explain why the world is changing, not just what is happening, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who thinks Africa cannot build big things, because the pipeline is almost finished, and history is about to flow.